Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Design Cafe. In today's episode, we're going to be diving into DIYs. So if you're interested in stuff like that, stick around. Come on, let's dive into it. Okay guys, so what we're going to be going over is all the DIYs that I have done in my home to upgrade it somehow. Some of them were inexpensive and some of them was a little expensive. But if these are things that you probably always want to do in your home, maybe you don't know how to do it, I definitely have videos on everything that I am going to show you. So you can go back, you can look at those videos. I always explain what I do, how I did it, all that stuff, along with having some fun with me while I'm doing my projects. So guys, if that is something that you're interested in, go ahead, stick around and let's get into this video. So I decided to start in, I would say one of my most popular videos. So whatever that DIY was, it happened in this room. So I have two DIYs that I did in this room that is very popular on my channel. It's still getting a lot of views. People are still asking me questions. How did you do that? How did you do that? So if you have any questions, you can definitely look in the comment section first. See if I've already answered that question. And if not, then you can just go ahead and leave a comment under this video and I will be sure and happy to answer that question. The first thing we're going to talk about, guys, is voila, my headboard. Guys, I made this headboard myself. Again, I will leave the card for the video right here so you guys can definitely check it out and see how I went about making this headboard. Now on my channel, I love to tell you guys, if you see something that you like, don't let budget stop you. Find a way to make it your own and fit your budget. So that is what I did. I knew I wanted this channel tufted headboard. I knew that I couldn't afford the ones that I was seeing because I needed something very grand in scale, right? So I decided to make this headboard myself because I have a little bit of knowledge on how to do some upholstery. Now, I've never made a headboard before this, at least at this scale. But I have reupholstered chairs and stuff like that. And I was like, it can't be that difficult. So I made this headboard. I'm still getting a lot of questions about this headboard. How is it made? How is it mounted on the wall? All this stuff. Guys, this headboard is mounted on the wall with cleats. Okay? So I don't know if you know what cleats are, but it's a piece of, it could be metal, it could be wood. I made my own cleats. They just need to be like in a 45 on each end. And when you put them together, they hook like that. So if I can see some online, I'll show you. So yeah. So that is what these are hanging on. My previous headboard that I had up there, which was a disaster. But I had to live with it, right? Because anybody knows when you just buy a home, sometimes you be broke for a while. And I was broke for a good little while. So I was doing some stuff. So for this headboard, I always had the mirrors on the side. So when I made this, I was like, why don't I keep the mirrors so I can make my this piece look a little bit different to what you will typically see, right? So by me doing this DIY, I had the choice of how wide I wanted it, how tall I wanted it. I had all those options. And when I did it, really tall headboards was the trend. So this headboard is 48 inches in height. And I had, because I know I was mounting it on the wall, I also love high beds. As short as I am 5'1". I say I'm 5'1", but people like to tell me I'm only 5. But I'm 5'1" nevertheless. But I also love a high bed. I don't like to feel too low on the floor when I'm laying on my bed. And I have an option of how high I wanted to hang this. But I also know that I wanted to fall behind my mattress at least 6 inches. And that is key, guys. That is a designer tip. You never want your headboard sitting on top of the mattress. You want it to be down behind the mattress. And a good measurement to look at is 6 inches. Okay, so this is my headboard that I made. I still love this headboard. I've enjoyed it over the years. The fabric on it is performance fabric, so I don't have to worry about staining or anything like that. Again, I'm gonna leave the card for the video, or I'm gonna leave the videos link down in the description. That would be better, because I don't want you guys to stop watching this video to go watch those. So after this video, all the videos that I mentioned, all the DIYs that I talk about, they're gonna be down in the description. You can just go click on them and you can go and watch those videos and see how I made this. Okay, so let's move on to the next DIY that I did in this space that is still trending very heavily. Okay, let's go. Next DIY that I did in this space that is still getting a lot of questions asked on it, and it's still getting a lot of views. It's really trending. Now, this DIY, I will definitely be linking the videos for it. It's different parts for that video. I think it has about 4 parts to the video, because I did make this myself. I did have some help from Babe in the beginning. He did help me out with doing the structure and stuff, and then after that, because Judith don't like to wait on anyone, I continued, right? So I did this DIY. I did the drawings for it. I actually planned it out for a long time. I used to lay on the bed and stare at it. I used to lay on my couch and stare at this wall and say, what can I do with this wall? What I had up there, some wooden panels I had up there before. Those were some free panels that I got because you guys know I do hotels. So they were actually for a headboard, and I had created something temporary. But after a while, I said, you know what? I want to create that perfect wall, and I'm just going to go after it. And I just jumped up one day, went to Home Depot, started buying the wood, came home, and it was a Saturday, and we started working on this wall. And I was finished with it, I think, by the following Saturday. It did take me some while because it was the first time I was doing this type of drywall, right? So it's the whole outside of it is drywall. I don't think I will do drywall again, even though I did it downstairs, because drywall is just so messy. You know, it's a lot of sanding and pasting and waiting and sanding. I think next time I will probably try to cover it with something so I don't have to worry about doing the drywall. But I did do all the drywall work by myself. Now, how I made this my own is I created the ledge to the bottom. This ledge to the bottom here that you're seeing. I created that ledge and then have the 2 sides so that I can put some decor on it. And yeah, so that's the next DIY that I did in my home that really upscaled my home. It took my home to a whole nother level and definitely make it very marketable. Okay, so this DIY is definitely one of my faves, and I really love it. And up to this day, I still look at it and say, I did that. I did that. So yeah, so okay guys, let's go and look at the other DIYs that I have done that is still, you know, some of them are still trending, some of them are not as trending. It was back in the day when I didn't understand YouTube too well. So yeah, so let's go downstairs and let's see the other DIYs that I have done in this space in my home that has really upgraded the home. Let's go, guys. y'all, here is the third DIY that I did in my space that really gave my space an uplift and started to really change how downstairs was feeling. Okay, so I did this wall. This wall was done when everybody was out doing partying for New Year's. I was sitting here 12 something at night is when I started this wall. So this is how I had spent my New Year's about 3 years ago. So I decided to do this wall. In the beginning, I wanted it to come all the way to the steps. But when I got here, I realized that this ceiling up here doesn't line up with the step. So I had to make some adjustment. And that is fine. We all plan stuff out in life, but we have to always adjust things as we go. So because of that adjustment, I was only able to get 2 rows of boxes, and then because it was my intention to use these mirrors in the middle row, I had to innovate. I already had 3 of these mirrors on this side of the room, so I decided to drop them in the middle, and I never moved them. I thought I was like, I'm not gonna like it, I'm gonna move them. All these years, they have been here. I have never moved them, never changed them, because I really thought that they were perfect, okay? So I did this wall with board and batten, and I also painted it a navy blue. I didn't want to do black because I felt like black would have been a little too harsh. And I also noticed that blue was my favorite color, but I was not using much blue in my home at all. So that's how I did this wall. Again, I would put the video in the description. And then I went ahead and I painted this door blue as well so that it can complement each other, because this door was green. It was green. So this is a very small space right here when you enter the home. So that's why I chose to do mirrors, so that I can have some reflection going on into the space, reflecting the light, giving the space a little bit of depth. That was very important. So when you have a small space, you don't want to do too much. So even though the mirrors are here, what the mirrors are doing is complementing the wall feature that I have going on versus competing with it. And then it's just decor on the wall. So I am utilizing my vertical space in this area, because a table here would have been a disaster. Okay, so this is my third DIY that I did in my home that helped to elevate this space. Let's go on to the next DIY that I did over here. Okay guys, this is the 4th DIY that I did in my home that definitely upgraded this house tremendously. Okay, this fireplace wall back here, before I had nothing behind here except for the traditional looking fireplace. I added all of this shelving. I added all of these cabinets down below on both sides. I made it very symmetrical. And how I made this my own was when I added the little cubbies that you're seeing over there. I will give you guys a close up. But when I added the cubbies and the lights in there, that's what really took this DIY to a whole nother level and definitely elevated the whole design all over. Again, I had to make changes as I went, because of course, you know, you measure, but then you come, and then older homes like these, you have a lot of crooked walls and so forth. So guys, this DIY behind here, I am definitely going to link it down in the description. I still get a lot of views on this one. It's going to be more than one video, but I will link all of them down in the description for this DIY. It definitely elevated my home. I decided, let's talk about it just a little bit. So what I decided to do was use glass shelves. The reason why I used glass shelves, in the first instance, I was going to use wooden shelves. But when I added the lights, I realized that the lights would have to be added on each shelf. But I still wanted my shelves to be movable. So, because if I added just on the top, that first shelf would have stopped the light from flooding down into the rest of the shelves. So that's when I made a decision and I changed it and went with glass shelves. It was a little bit more pricey, so it made this whole unit got a little pricier than I wanted it to be. But it was definitely worth it because I just love it. These lights never turn off. These lights have been on for the past 2.5, going on 3 years now. These lights have been on. I really got some good wear out of them. And then what I decided to do as well is add some lights under here at the fireplace as well. So before, I never used to really use my fireplace because I didn't know how to. But yeah, so this unit, I actually built this one by myself. The only thing I got help with was mounting the TV. And when I had to put the ceiling braces up that this drywall is mounted to, it was too heavy for me, and I built the full length of it. So my son came, held it up for me while I drilled it in place. Outside of that, I did this entire unit by myself. It was an awesome unit. For me to have done by myself. I was very peaceful, even though the house was a mess. That's the next reason why I don't like doing the DIYs myself, is because of the mess it creates. Whereas if you pay somebody to come in, they're gonna do it much quicker, plus they're supposed to clean up behind themselves. But because of budget, I did a lot of these things myself, and because I had a little bit of knowledge as how, but I did learn as I went as well. I did learn a lot. So guys, this is definitely obtainable. I remember one time I was watching someone speaking about wanting to do something similar to this, and she was like, I've searched all over YouTube and I haven't found that one video. And I was like, girl, you know you lying. You know you lying. You know you lying. She ain't find out one video, but yet I'm not gonna say it. Anywho, this is one of the DIYs that I did in my space that I am so proud of. And I definitely love this wall. Guys, let's move on to this DIY. So I did this DIY as well, and it is the same design. I had to continue the same design as I did on the first, that blue one that I show you, because they're adjacent from each other. However, I did not want that big dark blue wall behind of me. I wanted my home to remain very modern looking, so I didn't want that here. I thought it would have been too heavy. If I had put it here, I keep trying to envision it, and it would have been a little too heavy. So I decided to keep it as the same color of the rest of the house, and just let that one be an accent on its own, because they would have started to compete with each other. So I definitely love this wall. I had some challenges here by the step. So I actually had to make this look like it was one piece, which I had to use a lot of drying compound to sand it down. But this definitely created this really nice modern wall in the home, and I really like it. It turned out really well. It was easy. I went on and I did it in other projects that I had because it was so easy. So we did it ourselves, right? So yeah, and all I did to dress it up was add some artwork. These artworks, I ordered the art itself from Etsy, and I have been using that art over and over again, turning it different ways and all of that. So that's where these two artworks came from, and the frames came from Amazon, and of course the picture lights came from Amazon. They are rechargeable. So I did have these nice crystal sconces that I wanted to put on this wall, but after I measured it out, the sconces was falling funny, so I decided not to do that. Plus, I would have needed an electrician. And again, I wanted this to be very budget friendly. So this is the, where are we? The fifth? This is the fifth. Yeah, this is the fifth DIY that I did in my home that definitely elevated the space. And I want you guys to see that a lot of the DIYs that I have done are on my vertical space that is creating art in itself. So you don't have to like flood your walls with a lot of artwork, right? You can keep things very simple. Okay, so let's move on to, I don't think, yeah, that wall, the dining room is not a DIY wall. It's just a paint job. Okay guys, so you guys know this was recent, and I definitely will be linking the video on this. I think in this video I was more so trying to show you guys how to paint a straight line, because when you have two colors like this hitting each other and the line isn't straight, it just kills the whole look that you were going for, because all you're gonna see is those crooked lines. Okay, so I wanted to elevate this room. This wall used to be this color over here, and when you sat over there, you look over here, you just look blah, real blah, right? So the way I decided to upgrade this space was to paint this wall this navy blue. And then these are custom artwork. I love doing custom artworks. I love doing artwork that's very abstract is the word I'm looking for. So I love doing that because it allows you to be very free in what you're doing. So there is two artworks I will show you guys. Again, to elevate this, I decided to mount the draperies as high up to the ceiling as possible. This again gives the space a very luxe look. Okay, so this is definitely a budget-friendly DIY. The only thing I had to purchase for this space was these curtains. Okay, everything else I had. I did purchase the paint, and I had to kind of color match the paint, and you will see all of that in the video. So definitely go check that video out so you can see how you can upgrade your dining room space on a budget. Okay guys, we are in one of my favorite spaces in my home, and it is this guest bathroom. Definitely I will be linking the video down below for this. This space right here gave me some hard time but it turned out beautiful, right? I wanted to go very grand in the space because it's a small space. So when you have a small space, you go grand in one area. And that was creating this very huge piece of artwork that I created, and then bringing in this natural tone color of wood to create like a shelving to put some decor. So guys, this project right here, I was wowed for weeks on this particular project. I love this project so much. This was definitely budget friendly. When you look at the video, you will see where I first wanted to put mirrors here because I wanted the space to feel much bigger, but the mirrors were not working out for your girl. So I had to end up switching to this. And again, it's okay to change the design as you go. You have to make it work for you. So this is definitely one of my favorite DIYs in my house, and I definitely love this DIY. Okay guys, So this is the last DIY that I did in my space. You guys, if you guys have seen the video, and I will definitely show you the video of what was here first. It was another one of these cabinets, but when I purchased the home, that cabinet was damaged. And we asked for it to be fixed, but you know the excitement of purchasing a home, you end up not getting everything fixed if it's only you checking, basically. So the mistake I made is not checking to see if this was fixed, and I end up not having it fixed. But now, after all this time, I decided to upgrade it, and I wanted to take the cabinet down so that I can fix the cabinet. But after I took it down, I saw how it opened up the kitchen and made the space feel so big. So I looked at it and I said, you know what? I am not putting that cabinet back up there. I'm going to put some shelving up there. And guys, this was the best decision ever that I made. I love these shelves. I love it. Everyone that comes into this home adores these shelving, and it was definitely a good choice. Okay, so that is the last DIY that I did in my home that definitely upgraded my home. So guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. So always remember, don't allow budget to stop you from doing those things that you want to do in your spaces. Budget is nothing but a number. You can just try. If you never try, then you'll never know if you will fail. So go ahead and just try. Go ahead and just look at things, be inspired, and see how you can make it work in your space. Okay, so on that note, guys, I want to say have a blessed week, and see you guys next week on the next Design Cafe. Always remember, never let your budget dictate your style, but create a space that you love. Design for life.